Hello everyone, it's Brian here. Finally back with a new video. It's been something like 10 or 11 days since my last video, which means that's probably the biggest gap between making videos in the entire almost 3 years that I've been doing this. So I planned to do more over the last week, but I just was so tied up with things like Christmas and that kind of thing that I didn't get to it, which also means that I haven't really watched a lot of VC videos, so I do have some catching up to do. It's too late to say Merry Christmas, but I will say that I hope everyone had a good Christmas or whatever other celebrations you participate in during this time period. I hope it all went well for you. And I wanted to also say I hope the new year is great for you, so Happy New Year. And the other thing I wanted to say is just thank you for watching my videos. I mean, honestly, thank you for stopping by. Thanks you for commenting. I do love getting comments, and thank you for sitting down and listening to me, which I still find surprising that people do it. So now I'm going to do a thread today, which is 10 flawless record sides started by Richard McCook. It's a really interesting thread, not that difficult, because when I heard him do this video, I was thinking, you know, all I have to do is think of some of my favorite albums of all time, and certainly some of those will have favorite sides, or flawless sides, I should say. So this is pretty straightforward, but in doing this, in selecting the records, I did something I normally don't do. Like, usually I think about things I want to include in any video, and I might, go through my Discogs collection or think about things. I walked over to the record shelves and started like pulling records off and seeing which ones I thought had a perfect or a flawless record side. The only restriction I gave myself was that I wasn't going to use artists that I think I talk about a little too often, so I didn't choose a record from the Smiths or Leonard Cohen or John Cale or The Clash or Joy Division, Peter Murphy, the list goes on. So I left all those ones I talk about maybe too often out. That's not to say that these are obscure records by any means. They're certainly well known, but maybe not the ones I would normally have chosen. So if this was the first video I ever made for my channel, I would probably have chosen, the Smiths and those other bands and artists I mentioned. But let's get to it. So I'm going to start with this one from Kraftwerk called Autobahn. Came out in 1974. This is the Canadian repress from 1985. And if you know this record, you'll know that there are 5 tracks on here. There's 1 track on side A and 4 tracks on side B, and I'm choosing side A because side A includes that epic 22 minute and 42 second title track Autobahn, which I think is fabulous. The only way that would be better is if you could make like an hour-long version and put it on a CD, because that would be pretty fantastic. Side 2 is excellent too, but side A for me has the edge. And when I pulled this record off, I wondered, are there 9 other records in my collection that have a case where there's 1 track on a side? And maybe there are, but that I didn't go in that direction. For the second record, also choosing side A, from a record I immediately connected with when I first heard some of the songs, and that is Pretenders, their debut record. The date on the back here is 1979, but I believe this came out in early 1980. This is a phenomenal record, to be honest. I just love this record so much. The first time I heard it, I was really impressed by it. Possibly because of the song Precious. When I first heard that song, I just fell in love with it. The back of the record, produced by Nick Lowe. Produced by Chris Thomas. Stop Your Sobbing, produced by Nick Lowe. Anyway, side A, Precious, The Phone Call, Up the Neck, Tattooed Love Boys, what a track that is, Space Invader, The Wait, Stop Your Sobbing, fantastic. Fortunately, I was listening to a radio station that played The Pretenders, so I knew about them when this record came out, and I raced to whatever record store I could find, not in my hometown, and got a copy of it. Sire labels, both upside down. So that is a great record. Side 2 is also phenomenal, but I give the edge to side A because of Precious, which I really love. Number 3 is certainly an artist I've shown before, but when I pulled this off the shelf, I had to stick with it because it contains my favorite song from that artist. This is Brian Eno, credited just to Eno. Here Come the Warm Jets from 1973. And I've chosen side A. Now side A has the needles in the camel's eye, the Paw Paw Negro blowtorch, Baby's on Fire, which is my favorite Brian Eno track. I think that's awesome. Cindy Tells Me, fantastic. Driving Me Backwards, those are all fantastic songs. Side B could equally be a flawless side if you ask me. In fact, the first three, at least, Brian Eno records, I think are all wonderful and epic and fantastic. Very boring sleeve. This is a US pressing. I should have looked up which one it is, but very boring inner sleeve. Great album, though. Number 4 would be, I guess I would argue that this is my entry point into this band, although I think I had heard a track or two before this record, but when this album came out, I was really impressed by it. This is Cocteau Twins, Heaven or Las Vegas from 1990. And as I say, I may have heard some of their music before. I'm not sure. I was kind of late to the game on Cocteau Twins, but when this album came out, this is a case of an album that I overplayed. And I think in cases where you overplay a record, you almost get the sense that it's kind of like a greatest hits record maybe, or you're so comfortable with all the tracks that this whole album seems perfect to me. But side A has Cherry Colored Funk, Pitch the Baby, Ice Blink Luck, great song, 50-50 Clown, and Heaven or Las Vegas, the title track. Side 2 is also really excellent, but I'll list side A for a flawless side. Inner sleeve. There's the label on one side. Great album. And then, of course, after hearing that, I had to go back and find out what I had missed. And there was a lot. Well, not a lot, but, it's like really eye-opening. From 1978, I have chosen Warren Zevon's Excitable Boy, which I think is a really great record. And which side are you asking? Well, I went with side A. Side A starts with Johnny Strikes Up the Band, Roland the Headless Thompson Gunner, Excitable Boy, the title track, great. And of course, probably his marquee song, Werewolves of London, maybe overplayed, but I still think it's great. And then Accidentally Like a Martyr, that's a terrific song. Side 2, as I keep saying, is also great, but I give the edge to side 1 on this record. We have that well-known disturbing image. Lyrics. Really, really great album. Love it. I was trying to remember when I first heard, or when I first got this. I can't remember, actually. Not in 1975, I can tell you that. Number 6, a favorite band of mine from the 80s. And maybe the album most people wouldn't go to first for this record. They'd probably choose Rattlesnakes. But Lloyd Cole and the Commotions, Easy Pieces, to me, is almost as good as Rattlesnakes. This is phenomenal. I've mentioned in a different video how much I hate this album cover. I think it's awful. It doesn't work for me. And then the question is, what side do I choose? And this is a case where my favorite Lloyd Cole and the Commotion song is Brand New Friend, which leads off side 2. So my temptation was to pick side 2. But in fact, I went with side 1 for this record, which has Rich, Cut Me Down, Pretty Gone, Grace, and Why I Love Country Music. All really great tracks. And I hate the fact that the lyrics are all jammed together like that. But I do like that. And yeah, this is from, did I say 1985? Maybe I didn't. There we go. Great album. The first 2 Lloyd Cole records, Lloyd Cole and the Commotion, is really fantastic. The third one's good too. I just prefer the first 2, but this is a really great album. Next, a Canadian band. Is it my only Canadian band in here? That seems strange. But from 1987, the Northern Pikes from Saskatchewan, who are I guess you'd call them like a pop band. I'm not even sure it would be power pop, just a pop band. One of those Punch-Out for Remainders. Debut record from 1987. And for this record, I've chosen side A because, I wasn't always clear on which songs were singles and which weren't. But I think that 3 or 4 of these songs were singles. So Teenland definitely was a single. Great upbeat track. You Sold the Farm, great song. Things I Do for Money, I'm sure that was a single as well. Just Another Guy, great song. Dancing in a Dance Club, really fantastic. And somewhat fittingly, Big Blue Sky has a blue inner sleeve. and is also pressed, at least some editions are, on this nice blue vinyl. So side A for the Northern Pikes. Number 8, I've chosen the second Sugar record, File Under Easy Listening, or Fuel for short, from 1994. This is an original pressing from 1994. Of course, I've mentioned many times, I do like Husker Du, Sugar, Bob Mould. I think he's a really interesting artist. This record things I love Copper Blue, their first record, a lot. I think it's a really excellent record. But for a Flawless side, I could have easily chosen that record, but I chose side A of this record, which starts with Gift. Now, Gift to me is possibly the best Sugar song. It's really, really out there, really grabs you. Company Book, Your Favorite Thing, which was a single, What You Want It to Be, and G Angel. Really great music there. There is an inner sleeve in here. Lyrics, and then this polylined sleeve with the Sugar labels. Great album. Great album. Now, where are we? Number 9 is a band I didn't know about when this record came out. This is Killing Joke's debut record from 1980. I had no idea who this band was in 1980. I probably wasn't aware of them until 4 or 5 years later, 84, 85, somewhere in there. But looking back, kind of sad I missed it at the time, but I'm happy to have it. Really influential record, influenced a lot of musicians, and I chose side A. It starts with Requiem, War Dance, Tomorrow's World, and Bloodsport. Really strong record. Very boring inner sleeve. And editions EG, so side A of Killing Joke's debut record. And let's wrap it up with maybe the most esoteric one here. This is Faust. The record is called Faust 4, which originally was from 1973. This is a 2009 repressing. Love the album cover here. I think it's brilliant. They're a krautrock experimental band, and this is their 4th record. A little different from the other ones. It has vocals on here. And I've chosen side A. Side A starts with this 12-minute excellent song called Krautrock, which I think was terrific. This really strange track called The Sad Skinhead, which is sort of has a kind of a reggae feel to it. And then Jennifer, which is a kind of a cool psych song in a way. So I think this is a really interesting record. And inside, there's the labels. It has an inner sleeve, which I think I have to technically block this off. Really great record. So that's my 10th one. So that's it. And just once again, thank you for watching. Thanks for your comments. Happy New Year. Hope everything's going well. And I'll see you in the next video, and I don't know when that'll be, but next time.